And we're talking about coming up with different characters, and I finished off yesterday's podcast episode by talking about mixing and merging characters that you've already got in your catalogue of characters, your voice bank, as it were, and coming up with a new characters by taking elements of ones that you have previously come up with. We're going to extend that idea a little bit more today, and together with something which I mentioned yesterday. So you remember that I mentioned yesterday, one of the bullet points I had was about a key catchphrase of your character that when you say it instantly gets you into their voice. Yeah. So for example, perhaps you've created a character voice. Let's call it Perfect Pat. Okay, so Pat is, as their name implies, bright and positive and speaks at pace with a smile in their voice. And that attitude is helped by imagining their neatly brushed hair, their smart business wear, their wide open eyes and arms as well. They are Perfect Pat. Everything they do is absolutely spot on. Yeah, imagine a puppy dog in human form. They're eager, they're keen, maybe a positive religious minister. Yeah, that kind of thing. They're absolutely, everything is sunny. Glass is always not only half full, it's full to the brim with positivity. You need a catchphrase for them, don't you? You need a character catchphrase that you can say aloud to yourself to find them. Yeah? And I say aloud to yourself, you're actually saying it out loud, but you know, you're not going to be walking down the street saying it. You can say it in an open room or in the studio before you go in to that characterization. So, I mean, it could be for Perfect Pat, it could be, well, how are you this tippety top morning in a world full of rainbows and unicorns? Yeah, something like that. What I'm saying is you've got that catchphrase that you're going to say every single time in that same way, with that same inflection, in that kind of voice, in that kind of tone, that kind of projection, which is always going to summon up Pat. Now, what you could do is change one or two of those elements, perhaps the pace and the tone. And now Perfect Pat sounds a bit different. So we've gone from, how are you this tippity-top morning in a world full of rainbows and unicorns? And we're going to change the pace and the tone, and we're going to bring it down, and we're going to slow it down. What about this? So, how are you in this tippity-top morning in a world full of rainbows and unicorns? Sounds a bit more menacing, doesn't it? The phrase is the same. The look might be the same. But now, that wide-eyed expression is more passive-aggressive. It's a little bit manic. It's more akin to Jack Nicholson in The Shining. And you've got another character. So you can see and hear how it's good to play around with your voice, to alter some of the attributes or merge one with another, or see how you can move from one character to another character. It'll make you feel more comfortable in developing a brand new voice from your original core cast, whether that be a human character, a cartoon professor, or maybe an animal, a talking pig, for example, or a usually inanimate object. I mean, how do you come up with a voice for a train, for example, or a hybrid of all of those that I've just mentioned? I mean, what about a cartoon dog that's a professor, or an animated robot which is a chicken? So having a repertoire of voices and having an understanding of each of their vocal attributes and how you created them will make it easier for you to create a new one. Your character's voiceanality is what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow as Get a Better Broadcast podcast and Voice Over Voice continues. From London, I'm Peter Stewart.